So yeah, crazy stuff. The thing that kills me is that all of the waiting, all of these delays weren't even caused by, they were caused by people literally not knowing or not being able to do their jobs. I am calm. I am tranquil. So as you guys saw, those were all of the issues that ended up going wrong with the mortgage and the house and everything. And this video is supposed to talk about the solution that we found. And as I already told you guys in the last video, apparently the solution worked because we got pre-approved for the mortgage. Hey YouTube, and welcome back to my channel, part 2 of my house update, a riveting story of people not doing their jobs, gross negligence, lack of communication, and common sense. So let me just pick up right where we left off. So I find out via Enrico's aunt that the mortgage broker all this time basically hasn't done anything. I'm completely panicked because I am so crunched for time, and it's not like where I could just go to another bank. Right now, it is so difficult to get an appointment to go to a bank that you're not a client of, and my bank, being an online foreign bank in Italy, wasn't even a feasible solution for a mortgage in the first place. Very luckily, I had recently collaborated with this big Italian bank and was able to use my little influencer strings to get a hold of a specialist there. I wanted to try to apply for a mortgage directly and cancel the contract with the broker since she wasn't really doing anything. Initially, things were going great, and this particular bank was ready to finance me. Actually, they even said I qualified for the coveted 100% mortgage, which in Italy is unheard of. Everything was going great until I read the fine print on one of their products one night and saw that for foreigners, they don't give mortgages that are more than 70%. So that option went up in flames before it could even take off, and I was getting really desperate. Like I said, given everything, it's so hard to even get an appointment. So I was out of personal contacts and I was out of time. At this point, I called the head of the auction agency and told them to ask the lawyer if my deadline was pushed back again. It was pushed to February, given the last law that halted the courts until October, and that law was extended to December. So I just asked, could my deadline get extended again too? I asked them, and I told them that the reason I was asking was because I found out that nothing had been done by the mortgage broker. My agent actually seemed pretty nervous, and she swore up and down that she had spoken with the broker and that everything was on track. And I said sure and waited to hear back because, again, what else could I do? For the first time ever, my broker contacted me to reassure me that everything would be fine and that she expected to have an approval in December so that I could pay in January. This was mid-December when she said this, so I was skeptical, but I repeat again, what other choice did I have than to wait for these people? I could do nothing else but hope and believe her, and also hope and believe that my deadline was going to be extended. On the 27th of December, I wrote to the broker for a follow-up and got no response. I'm not surprised though, because it was December 27th, so Christmas period, and this is Italy. January comes, I follow up again on the 5th, no response. At some point after this, my agent told me that they extended my deadline by 65 days, so I felt a little bit better. By the 15th, when I still didn't hear anything, I wrote to the agent again that this woman has not responded to me. She says, the broker says, oh yeah, that's right, I'll write her now. She didn't. She didn't write me. Not until 8 p.m. She wrote me from a different number saying that the number she had been using for the last 8 months was her personal one, which she often left at home these days, and so she forgot to write me. Anyways, the bank that I had originally applied to had stopped giving mortgages and was no longer feasible, so they were offering my application to other institutions and would let me know. I had no idea what to say, and so I didn't say anything. I didn't even respond. I had to think, because it was January 16th now, and again, nothing had been done. To wrap this story up, after a very stressful few days going over all the options and having another option come back negative because I was foreign and the bank was being sold, here's how I should say we, are moving forward. First of all, we decided that me and Enrico are going to get the mortgage and own the home together. I still stand by women not waiting for their partners to make big investments, but COVID literally froze time for this guy, and in the meantime, so much changed for him. I mean, when the prices were what they were and we were able to do the auction, because apparently it's really hard to do auctions now, so that deal that I got, it couldn't have been done now, but I got it last year. When I got it, he didn't have a job, he didn't have savings, and so I said, I can't let this deal go. I'm gonna get it. It's an investment for our future, really. And then a year later, because this took a year, he now has a job, a very stable contract. He's a chemical engineer. He has savings, and we can get it together. I was really psyched about being able to say I bought a house all on my own at 24, but in 2 weeks, I'll be 25 and I'm tired. Enrico is my life partner. The whole idea behind the apartment in the first place was to get it as a future rental property so I could use that rental money and essentially be a stay-at-home influencer mom for our kids. I would get this house since I could at the time, and he would get the next one, which would be the family home. At the time, that was the plan, but things changed, and so we're adapting. In the end, it actually doesn't change much. I mean, we're still paying half and half, but we just look far more creditworthy together, and it takes a lot of financial and emotional burden off of my back in terms of closing the deal. I no longer have the foreigner issues thanks to him, and he won't have to worry about income issues thanks to me. We're going to get this house one way or another. I swear it. I'm currently back in talks with that bank from December, and I also have a really good broker on call that is a friend of a friend. He also did her mortgage in case that bank doesn't work out. So that's where we're at. Guys just gotta wish me luck that, things go how they were supposed to go. I do believe that everything happens for a reason. I think that, like I said, we're both in such a much better place now than we were a year ago. I am far more financially solid than I was. I feel really good, and it would be a lot easier to get this together. So that is the house update. See, it really did take 2 videos, but wasn't it a riveting story? And that is just one thing that you can deal with if you're buying a house. And the crazy thing that I want to point out to people is that it wasn't COVID that caused all of these delays. It was my broker. If my broker had moved in October, we would have gotten the mortgage in November and it would be done. But, it is what it is. You live and you learn. And like I said, everything happens for a reason, and I'm feeling much better about where we are now. I'm fine. I'm hopeful. So where we are now is we're in the phase of, they have to, what's the word in English? They have to do an appraisal of the house so that they can update the market price. And the bank can give us the amount of money that we actually are asking for, because right now the price that it was going for at auction is obviously much lower than the actual market price. So to get the amount we want from the bank, they need to reevaluate it. And then we have to do all of the bureaucracy with the notary and, legalize the whole mortgage transaction. But these are more or less the easy parts because, as I said, we've already been pre-approved. Technically speaking, nothing is supposed to go wrong at this point. Then after that starts all of the fun stuff in terms of, getting the renovations approved by the city, doing the renovations. That is going to be something. I'm already mentally preparing myself for that, but I just feel like nothing can be worse than this year and what this year has been in terms of waiting to get to this point, the stress of not knowing and thinking everything is okay, and then at the same time you're never really sure because you don't actually have the house yet, and then all of a sudden it turns out that, oh shit, everything might have just hit the fan and you might not even get the house. Ooh, stress. Nobody ever talks about the stress. Everything that happens before, the house is bought, the house is yours, and the house is fixed. This is actually the process. But as I said, as of right now, it seems everything is back on track. I'm hoping that, you know, we'll spend the spring and summer doing the renovation so that we'll finally be in the house by the fall. And yeah. On the one hand, it's like, okay, yeah, Tia, you are freaking crazy because you decided to try to buy a house at auction in Italy during a global pandemic. And that is true. I'm not going to tell people that I'm not crazy. I clearly am. I have proven that I'm crazy. But like I said, all of these delays weren't even because of the pandemic in the end. Like, there are other people that bought houses during the pandemic in Italy and they were able to get into their houses in the normal amount of time because that wasn't affected by the pandemic here in Italy. That was getting the mortgage. I will give you guys another update once that is finalized because I do want to make a whole video on all of the costs of this phase because I want you guys to know the real facts, the real figures, the real numbers of buying a house here in Italy. So yeah, hope that you guys like these videos. I hope they were insightful and useful for you. Be sure to comment if you have something to say. Let's hear it. And as always, remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in my next one.